Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome back to my channel. I am so glad you're here today. I am hopping on for a Fiber Friday video that's going to be a little bit different, but not really. It still involves yarn. It's just another new obsession that I have come up with. And so I thought I'd share it with you because everyone should have some obsessions in their life. So we're going to jump into that. I did want to thank everybody for all of their comments and emails lately. I have been getting lots of video ideas and questions and all kinds of things. I'm going to try this afternoon. I know I haven't answered the last week or so. I'm going to try to jump into that and get all of my comments answered on the channel. And I'm thinking at some point, I'm looking at possibly I'm thinking about doing either a live episode with the questions or just an episode with all the questions that come in. I usually get quite a few within a week. And so I might be changing up because it's getting harder and harder to answer everybody's comments in there. So far I'm doing okay, but at some point I think it's going to be a little too much to do that on a regular basis. And I tend to put that off until there's like 30 questions or comments, and then I go through and answer everybody's, and it's going to get way too hard to do. So I do appreciate all of those, and it does give me ideas for videos, which is always very helpful to keep this channel going. I keep thinking, I've said this probably 10 times now on these videos, I'm going to run out of things to talk about, and every week I get either a thought or a comment from one of you, and I'm like, oh, that's a great video idea. So today I'm hopping on to talk about yarny things. This is not spinning and it's not knitting or crocheting, but it is creating with yarn. The reason this is kicked up into me, I've been thinking about two different things. One of the things I've been thinking about is I have a lot of hand spun, leaning towards art yarn, yarns that I am accumulating, and those don't always sell good for me. Sometimes when I go to shows, people will see them and buy them, but they're really hard. For example, I'll show you the one that we're going to talk about. This one is an art thread yarn. So this is thread spun. And for the most part, you're not going to purchase. It's gorgeous and it's beautiful yarn that I just love. But somebody's not going to purchase this to make a sweater or you might make a cowl, like an art spun cowl, but for the most part, people aren't going to just grab this to make a sweater or anything like that. And all of my yarns are mainly this is the only skein of this I have. This I think was from a Crafty Housewife Yarns, and I keep forgetting they are Feral Scene, I think now. This was one of their Braid of the Month clubs, and this is it. This is all that you get one braid in those, or that's all I get, and then I spin it. So these are like one-of-a-kind yarns, and I don't have huge amounts. And so I've been racking my brain lately because I've got a couple shows coming up, and I want to add a few more things to my website, which right now, most of my yarns that I have are not on my website. I need to go through and get those listed and on there. But I was thinking, what can I do with some of these yarns that I am just accumulating? And I love to spin them, but maybe people aren't really interested in buying them. So I've come up with an idea this week. And it's not a new idea. It's actually an older idea, although some of you may not have seen the one thing we're going to talk about. But several years ago, my daughter-in-law, so we're going to talk about some art for our art yarns. Several years ago, my daughter-in-law, let's see if I can get this. This is a wall hanging. And I love this. It's yarn and ribbon. I think you can see the ribbon in there. And it's just tied on a dowel with some twine. And this is hanging in my bedroom. It's one of my favorite pieces of art. And I've seen a lot of these. I have actually made some for gifts. I made I think for our daughter, when she was pregnant with her daughter, I made a wall hanging out of the circle hoops that you do embroidery with, or the quilt hoops. And I did almost the same thing with pink yarn, pink ribbon, And I think I put flowers in it. So it would have been the circle with yarn and ribbon hanging down this way. And then I added, I think, some flowers into it. And so it was a really cool decoration. And so we have been this week, which brings me to what the video is about. This week we have been helping Scott's grandma pack up her house. And Kitty, every time. This one can't go outside though. So we're helping Scott's grandma pick up her, or clean up and pack up her house. She is moving in with her son, Scott's uncle, and she has a lot of stuff. And she's 94, almost 95, and she has a lot of stuff. So I have, we've been over there helping, and I always debate. I love antiques. I love family antiques. And I try to, they're in my house throughout. You know, I've got bookshelves that my grandpa made, and I've got suitcases that were from Grandma and Grandpa that I use as decor. I'm trying to look around here. I have lots of stuff that is just antique things that I use as decorations. And so she had, I'll try to remember to pop a picture in here. But she had a wooden spinning wheel lamp. And I will pop a picture in if I remember. But it's just perfect. And I don't remember ever seeing it in her house. Scott's like, yeah, I remember it from when I was a kid. And then his brother and I are like, I've never seen it before in my life. And I'm being a spinner the last 20 years. I know I would have remembered that, or at least I thought I would have. I have no idea where it's been, but supposedly it's been sitting in her spare room. And so we got to bring that home, which I'm absolutely in love with that. And there was something that was in the Goodwill pile. And I debated all afternoon yesterday as we were packing. I took it out of the Goodwill pile and I'm like, let me think about it. I didn't really need it. And I was trying to rack my brain. What can I do with this? Can I use it as a wall hanging? Because sometimes I'll take my flat baskets that I find at Goodwill and I'll do, put the baskets up on the wall. I have one over here. And so I thought, could I hang it on the wall that way? What can I do with it? So it popped into my head yesterday before we left what I could do with it. This is called, from what I can tell, this is called circle weaving. People are doing it on lots of different things. I've seen it on hula hoops, which I think they're making rugs with those. I have not watched any videos or read any directions yet. I'm just going off visual. I was on Pinterest, which is the worst place to be if you're creative some days because it just really gets the mind spinning. So I got on Pinterest and I did find them. And people are making rugs out of hula hoops. They're doing these wall hangings, which if you look up circle weaving on Pinterest or anywhere, you're going to come up with it. You're going to find it. And it kind of encompasses, I don't even know if I've told you what I was debating on. It encompasses my yarn and this thing, which is, this is a grandma. So this would be my husband's grandma's, Grandma Dush, her quilting hoop. So they used to quilt a lot, and this is what they would have used to hold the quilt. And I'm guessing, if I had to guess, this has to be, I mean, Scott's grandma is 94. His grandma has been gone for years. I'm guessing this has to be almost 100 years old. And so I couldn't let it go to Goodwill. And so I have already started what I think is how they did it. Again, I have not watched any videos. I'm just looking at pictures going, oh, that's so cute. And I can encompass some of my art yarns into this project. I did order, this one's gonna be blues. And so what I've done is I've taken just some white, this is just red heart yarn, and I've woven it back and forth around. As you can see, it looks like a bike wheel. It is not, I did not measure, as you can see also, because as I weave, you're going to be weaving stuff in and out. As I do that, I think these are going to move anyways, and I have it loosened right here with this screw. I have it loosened enough so that I can move these back and forth as needed, and that will, my thick and thinness of what I'm going to weave through here will make a difference in that. And so this is no rhyme or reason, not measured. If you're that kind of person, you could go through and do pencil marks every inch and then run your yarn around. So what I did was I popped the top hoop off and I tied off. You can see I left it right here. I tied this off and then I just went back and forth around and around and around until I ended and tied it off here. And then I put the second hoop on top. And again, I have it kind of loose so that I can move these right now. And I am just going to weave in. This is a perfect way to weave in yarn and stuff. I have seen ribbons on this, which I also came home with lots of craft stuff because Grams has always been a crafter, and I'm going to go through her box of ribbons and stuff and see if there's anything in there that I want to pull out of there. I pulled out some, I'm not going to do the orange, but I just wanted to show you this would be a perfect type of yarn if you're into making your art yarns, but you don't know what to do with them. This would be a perfect example because all you're going to do is, and I don't want to take this out of its skein, but you're just going to run your yarn in and out, back and forth, just like weaving. And depending on, so just like that, it'll go back and forth. And I'm going to stick a lot of things in here. I have some alpaca roving. I have some Pygora roving. I have some of the store-bought yarn roving that you can get. I can't remember if it's called yarn roving or roving yarn. This I use to teach people to spin with. It's just, it's part wool, but then it's something else. I'm not sure, something man-made. And it's really inexpensive to get to teach people how to spin, and it has a nice grab to it. And so this is going to be something I'm going to add in here. And again, you're just going to weave it back and forth. You might do a long strip, you might do a short strip. This is going to be, and you can tuck it anywhere you want it. You can kind of get an idea of what's going to happen when I fill this whole thing up. I have looked at some that have patterns to them. So they've done very specific patterns. Like the center is different and then they come out and do different things. I have not watched a video or looked at anything on how you decide what the pattern is going to be. This one's probably going to be random because that's kind of how I fly sometimes. But I've pulled a few yarns out. I pulled these two out, although these are a bit more teal. Oops, let me set that down. These are a bit more teal than what I want. This is a thick and thin spun that I did. So you've got thick pieces and then you've got thin pieces. So I love these two together. I might have to buy another one of these. Grams did have a whole bunch of little ones that I might take out of the box and do some little ones too. But for this one, I'm going to keep it blue. That's what my room, this living room is, and I want to hang it up here. So my living room is blue. And so I pulled this yarn out, which is a little, not as much art yarny, but a little bit. This is more of a thick and thin spun too. And this has the blues in it that I like. And so I'm thinking I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to pull this apart and try it. Okay, minor interruption. I always get, Scott always seems to come in when I'm doing these videos. I could wait all day and he'd not show up until I started doing one. So I am just going to take this apart because I'm 90% certain I'm going to use this yarn in this particular one. And I did order some blue roving today from Etsy that I want to use. This is more gray, but I am going to just do it here real quick just to show you how this is supposed to look. So I'm just going to start going, all you do is weave. So it's in and out. And I'm not sure on the yarn here if I need to have it. I don't know if I want to do it in pieces. But essentially you're going to go, some of them did entire rounds of this. That's where this comes in handy. It kind of fills in the gaps. Let me just show you what I mean by that. So some of the ones I saw had just one color, like it was all white or all blue or whatever. And I'm going to use some different colors just to give you an idea here. And then you're going to pull this up, and I'm going to do that and pull the yarn a little bit more and just tuck that in. And I'm going to go back with the yarn back and forth to get it wove in. So when you do that with the yarn, you end up having a line of, and I think as you grow it, so I think you can see that right here. And so I'm going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I have a section here. I'm going to try to get some different stuff. Again, I'm going to look for some ribbon and lots of different things. So that is what I'm working on this week. And I thought you guys might enjoy seeing that. Again, I don't think there has to be any rhyme or reason as to how you do it or what you put in here. I could put short pieces of yarn in just a small section. I'm actually probably, when I get my roving and everything, I am going to start in the center, and because my center is a little bit, I can pull it all together here, but I've got like that. And I kind of want to do that to get it started. So I may put some of this roving right here in the center to get started, to get a nice thick start to it. And then once I get my my other roving that's coming from Etsy, I'm going to add that in, and I'll do the yarn. And I might even spin some of the roving that I got. I think I got a large braid of it. So some of it could be woven just like that, and the rest of it could be, I could spin it into art yarn and use that too. So there's lots of options with this. This is more of combed top. This is actually more of a bat than anything. And this is my alpaca. The Pygora is just a little, this is more white. This is in what they call, what do they call that? A cloud. When you get Pygora processed, they put it in a cloud for you. And so this is just a big poof of fiber, and I can just pull this, and it doesn't have to be perfect or exact, and I can tuck it in and out. This I could almost make to look like the roving that I'm using there, just by pulling it together and then weaving it in and out just like that. And so that's what it's going to end up looking like. You'll have to decide if you want, every other one showing, the way you go about designing it. If you're more of a perfectionist, you might, again, put marks to notch everything perfectly. And then all of your stuff would be more perfect. I am more of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. So I just wanted to show you that today, what I'm working on, and maybe be on the lookout for some of these big looms at the thrift store, not looms, hoops, and do some weaving and making some projects with them. And again, there is a way to make rugs with hula hoops the same way. I'm not sure. There has to be some way that you tie off the ends. I haven't looked into that yet, but that might be an idea that you want to do too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you and gave you some craft ideas maybe for your weekend. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I hope you get to create something. Bye.